this is something James Shremko talks about, and there's a few other internet marketers that talk about it, is you identify entrepreneurial people that you are working with. So entrepreneurial virtual assistants who are doing work for you, you might help them to create their own business. So let's say you've got a virtual assistant who is your article writer. You might say to them, how about I give you a 20% premium, so I'll pay you an additional 20% on whatever it is that I'm already paying you, and what I want you to do is now try and go find an outsourcer that you manage, and he can pay them the amount, and then he gets the extra 20% on top, that management fee, and you help educate them to understand, well, if you've got 7 people working underneath you, 20% of each person is going to be more than if you were to do the whole task your own, and that's a way of developing them and getting them to hire people underneath themselves and help them build a business. So that's another way to go along that route if you don't feel confident hiring the project manager or you want to try and reduce the risk. But I personally like to have those people in-house. Smooth sailing. This is a couple of things that you can do once you start to get a little bit bigger. I like to, now for our Philippines staff, we've got a team leader over there. So our team leader is someone that the other assistants can now check in with. So if for some reason, like I said, there was brownouts or they couldn't get through to us or Ryan was sick and I wasn't in the office, they've still got someone else that they can check in with. You know, we get messages from Grace all the time and she's like, Franz can't hop online because you know, he was down at the hospital or he had to pick up his kids or something like that and he wasn't able to communicate with us. So it's a good idea, and we're training Grace up now to start talking and doing the start of days, the SODs. We're training her to be into being a little project manager, and there'll be a time where she'll take over what Ryan's doing, and that'll free Ryan. There'll be a time when Ryan starts to work with project managers, and then each project manager has people underneath them. So this is just throwing the stuff out there, letting it sink in as to what can happen over time. You want to make sure, I've got Grace, she's now, I suppose, the number 3 in charge over there. There's myself, Ryan, and now Grace, and we've got her doing regular check-ins with them. She's going through and helping them work through e-support. She's helping training them. It's the final stage in learning. She knows how to do everything now. The final stage is she has to start to teach. And that's the stage before she can start to move on to something else. It's important that she goes through all of those stages, and she's the point of call. The worker retention, which is clearly something that I need to be working on a little bit better at the moment, but I'm very good at worker retention for people over in the Philippines and offshore. I think what you need to keep in mind is it takes someone at least 6 months before they actually are doing their job fully and properly understanding it. So I invest a lot into my staff and I do a lot of training for them. So you want to make sure, if you're investing all that into them, that we try and keep them as long as possible. I don't want to train them up and then have them go somewhere else. So the way that you do it, this is more so for the Philippine staff. For my Melbourne staff, I'll tell them, I'll do whatever I can to help you. That's how I keep my guys, which is I'll support you, I'll help grow, I'll work on projects when they get to a certain size. Like Ben and Ryan at the moment now, we're starting to do projects outside of Melbourne SEO, where they've got little side projects and we're like, how can we team up? How can we, go more on a 50-50 type basis? So that's how I'm getting those guys more involved and helping them grow. Whereas for the Philippine staff, I pay them more. I don't pay them $2 or $3 an hour. I'll pay them $5 an hour. I'll do bonuses every now and then. If someone needs a new computer or something like that, I might go them halves, something like that. There's a few different things that you can do. And for them, it's only a few $100s for you, but for them, they've never heard of anything like that. They're like, you're going to do that? And then you've got them because you're investing back in them and it'll come back to you. And the other way, really key one-on-ones, feedback and coaching. That's how you keep connected to your staff because you know what they're feeling and you don't let things just go by. If Ryan was working on a task and he didn't feel like he could tell me that I'm not enjoying this task, in the back of his, that might be building up of I'm really not enjoying this. But I'm making sure I'm having a regular communication. What is it that you're enjoying doing? How can I help? What can we do? Okay, you're not enjoying that. What can we do to rework it? And that type of stuff. That's how you keep them.